Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Going to have roll call vote. Commissioner Sturm is already, what?
Yeah, no, we're not voting on it.
I will vote on it. Commissioner Sturm has already said she will not be present, so Commissioner McCormick, Commissioner Mason,
Present.
Commissioner Heising,
Present.
Commissioner Farsan,
Present.
Vice Chair Radnich,
Present.
and Chair Labange present. All right. Can I have an adoption of the agenda, please?
So moved.
A motion to adopt. the
Motion.
agenda. Excuse me, it's been a while.
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a second?
Adopt the agenda.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Do we have any public comments that are not on this agenda?
I do not have any hands raised on Zoom, and there's no one in the audience.
You know, I realized I didn't read the script, so I will read it really quickly. Welcome to tonight's Planning Commission meeting. As a courtesy, members of the public may participate remotely in the meeting. Please refer to the meeting agenda for information about how to provide public comments, either in person here in the room or via Zoom. Any person may address the commission on any item listed in the agenda. Persons wishing to speak on items listed on the agenda will be heard when called by staff. You are welcome to speak for up to 3 minutes. Public comments from remote participants on Zoom will be audio only. This means members of the public wishing to address the commission will be allowed to speak live. However, their videos will not be shown and screen sharing will not be an option. Finally, since the city cannot guarantee that the public's access to teleconferencing technology will be uninterrupted and the opinion of the public and the option for the public to participate remotely is only a courtesy. If technical difficulties arise for participants using the teleconferencing Zoom option, the meeting will continue unless required otherwise by the Brown Act. We appreciate your patience while we get used to the new audio visual system that enables us to offer remote participation. Okay, consent. Sorry, let me pull up the agenda.
Just the
So
minute.
consent calendar, does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent calendar? Any issues? Otherwise, can I have a motion to adopt it?
So I have a couple of corrections for the meeting minutes.
Please.
So if you're ready, or I can just put them in the record. So on page 7, on line 28 and 29, it currently reads, Commissioner Farzan said he had an email that was forwarded to him from planning staff from Mr. Schnitzler. It should actually be that Mr. Schnitzler forwarded an email he had sent to the planning staff, which he then forwarded to me. And then I have one other correction on page 9 on line 36. It says objective versus subjected. I think it's supposed to be subjective instead of subjected. And those are my only 2 comments. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Can I have a motion to adopt the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion with the corrections that Commissioner Farsan mentioned.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. We have no continued public hearing. So we have new public hearing. Staff, if you could please take it away. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Good evening, commissioners. Tonight, we are reviewing application MS 50223, which is a minor subdivision at 1030 Brown Avenue. This is distinct from normal subdivisions in that the development plans have already been approved. At the time of the development application, staff was unaware of the plans to do a subdivision. Typically, it would be subdivision and then development, but instead we're looking at them in reverse order. So all of the aspects of the development application have been approved by the DRC, and what's before the Planning Commission tonight is simply a minor subdivision of the proposed plans. Looking at the lot, this is on the east side of Brown Avenue between Mount Diablo and Highway 24. The zoning is C1 with a Brown Avenue overlay. And the lot size is 0.15 acres or 6,500 square feet. The current occupant or use of the land is a single family home as well as the development style. These are the plans that were previously approved. You can see that they are residential units, 2 standalone single-family homes, the front at 2,631 square feet and the rear at 2,752. The height is uniformly 32 feet 3 inches for both ridge lines, and both units will have their own 2-car garages. There's 1 removal of a tree. You can see the rendering of the previously approved plans. Again, this was a design review, grading, and tree removal permit approved by DRC in March of this year. And now separately, we are looking at the minor subdivision before you. I'll go to the conceptual condo plan, which you see here. There is a single lot with 2 separate condo units proposed as airspace units. And I want to call out the email that I sent to you. Some of you may not have seen it. It was later this afternoon, just correcting some of my terminology in the staff report. I had previously said 3 lots. That was incorrect. It's a single lot. And then the airspace units are recorded as condominiums. So there's no lot split. We're not creating a new parcel. So just to make that very clear. And where the airspace units are not occupying space, the underlying lot is visible, identified as lot 1 here, and that's the common space between the 2 units. That's also how the 2 garages are accessed. So all the plans that you see here are consistent with the previous approval from design review, and all of the findings necessary can be made for approval of this project. With that, staff does recommend that the Planning Commission find the project exempt from CEQA and adopt Resolution 2023-11, approving the the application subject to the attached conditions. I'll also note that Lee Rosenblatt, engineer and representative of the applicant team, is here and can answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any clarifying questions for staff? Nope. Okay. And then as the applicant, would you like to present anything, or are you just here for questions? Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any clarifying questions for the applicant? Okay, in that case, let's open it to if there are any public comments.
I do not have any raised hands on Zoom, and I have no one in the audience.
Okay, well then we will now close for any public comments and bring it back to the Planning Commission. Let's just get on it. If you have any questions or concerns or anything, just bring them up now. I've got a couple, but I'll wait to the end that I just want to at least address. Anyone? All right, then I'll go. Mine, and I'm very, I like the design a lot. I mean, we're not dealing with that, but when I looked at it, I thought it was neat. The only thing that caught my eye is just wanting to make sure we thought through was the zoning. I was concerned with the space between the southern border and the parcel just to the south, which is a residential house in a commercial use. That's my opinion of what it is. And it appeared from reading, sorry, let me find where that was, that there's 0 setback unless it's a residential dwelling. Hold on. And so I just wanted to make sure I don't want to mess this up, but okay, so if you're on page 64, I think that's this, and it's page 7 of 8 of, sorry, just want to make sure I tell you which section that's in of the report of the DRC's report. So there it talks about, and there's a zoning code compliance, and it's because it says the required side and rear setback is none, the proposed is none, and then there's a little call out to number 1 or number 2 at the bottom of the page. Number 2 says no setback yards are required in C1 unless the site are adjacent to residentially zoned property, and I think those are C1 as well. So no, or property with an existing residential structure or structures of 4 or more units. And my only question was, would that be considered as an existing residential structure? Should we be concerned? Maybe the answer is yes and no. I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Just, excuse me. My thought is the project, the units are already approved in the location they're at. And I think, aren't we just looking at the map? Condoizing where the existing locations are already, so
Yeah.
I'm looking to staff. We're not, because it already went through DRC. It's already, the locations of the lot of the units themselves have already been scrutinized and the setback determined and all that, right?
That's correct, but I'm happy to respond to Commissioner Labange's question. I think it's a good question and it doesn't, it's not contrary to your final action. And so thank you for bringing that point up. The form of the structure adjacent does look like it has a residential form, but the use is not residential. It's a commercial use. So staff still finds that it wouldn't implicate any sort of setback. It wouldn't trigger any other setback requirements.
Okay. And in my thinking of it was if I owned that property and I ever wanted to make it residential, I would probably not be excited about this, but then I would be here in the audience saying something, or it probably would have come up at DRC. So I'm going to assume that that's not the case because I don't see anyone. So that's all I have. Anyone else have anything else? All right. Well, I am willing to take any motion that gets put my way.
I'll make a motion, but at first I had a question for the applicant. Just out of curiosity. So when you condoize something, you're drawing a box around it and then someone will buy that condo, which is in this case a mini house. Where does that box stop? Is it three-dimensional? Is it included in the foundation? So if the foundation cracks in the future, is it on the lot owner to fix it or the person who buys that unit to fix it?
Thank you, commissioners, and thank you for the question. In some cases, when you buy a condominium and you think about it in terms of, say, a fourplex, fiveplex, sixplex, and you're purchasing the condominium, you're technically purchasing the airspace within the unit. The structure itself in that case is owned by the homeowners association. And if there's a fire or problem, et cetera, the homeowners association technically would take care of that. In this case, within the two blue boundaries that were on the screen a moment ago, these homeowners, thank you, will actually own everything within the blue, very similar to if it was their own land lot. So they will actually own the structure itself. Therefore, if there was a crack in the foundation, as you mentioned, it would be their sole responsibility. The only shared component in a condominium like this is what is that shadowed common area space that would be the driveway. So if for whatever reason there's, over time there's maintenance, et cetera, those two homeowners will have a maintenance agreement in order to deal with that common area. You wouldn't need a whole homeowners association. And in this case where we only have 2 units. But it is a great question because many times you think of an airspace condo of the airspace, for example, within this room. But we have seen more and more typically now in many cases in many cities where this type of development is used to kind of work through different codes and other things that are necessary. And the homeowner generally will get the full enjoyment of that private yard that's really theirs. The porch is all theirs. It's not an exclusive area, et cetera.
Okay, great. And then I'm assuming the sewer lateral and the water go out through that common space, and like if there was a rupture or a meter needed to be replaced, they would both share in that cost.
That is absolutely correct. And you can see on the screen now, the other
Oh,
page
yeah,
of the
that's
tentative
what-
map showed the utilities coming through that common space, just like you mentioned.
Okay, great.
Thank
That
you.
was it. It was more curiosity.
Yeah, great questions.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right, thank you. So with that, I'll make
Hold
them.
on a sec, I guess we.
Oh, another question.
You've
Okay,
opened
sorry.
the can.
Oh, sorry.
You opened the door there.
Hear me.
Quick question, and what was your role in this?
I'm sorry. My name is Lee Rosenblatt. I am the civil engineer from CBG who was retained to work on this component of the project. I was not on the project originally when it got approved. And when it came to me, I said, hey, if you guys want to do this, we have to go through this process. And it was like, oh, we haven't done that yet. So that's why it turned out being backwards. I mentioned we have to go through this process before we could record the final map, before we can do the condominium plan, before it could go to sale.
Well, first of all, I'm the structural engineer, so I've done a number of these. So just trying to understand the mechanics of your shared common wall. Okay, because first of all, typically the foundation runs through there. So cracking one, crack that. Second thing is, hey, if it's designed as one building, there are restrictions on, hey, you can't just open up a wall and put a window in without the other person's permission and stuff like that, or just the fire rating of the shared walls. Is it two separate 1 hour walls, or is it just one wall and just the airspace in between? So I'm just trying to understand what your intent is. I know that that's not your real area of
Oh.
expertise, but
Thank you for the question. It's actually a great question. And when you have a condominium, which would be one building with multiple spaces between, you would have that shared wall situation. In this case, they're actually two single-family residences separated by, gosh, I can't see the number that close now, but 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, whatever it is between those buildings. And I apologize, I can't see the exact number, but they're two physically separated individual structures that were approved from the original application. And this is just putting a line in the middle to allow each side to be sold separately. There is no common or shared wall or shared slab in this specific case, but you are 1,000, maybe 1,000,000% correct when it's a type of building, a duet, for example, or anything where you would have that common line.
so this is just to get around side yard setbacks. then.
It's a method used, yeah, due to the zoning here, the size of the original size of the lot, et cetera. It was the method necessary in order to essentially subdivide. Yes.
Okay, understand now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Farsan? Oh, okay. If any other questions? Otherwise, anyone wants to make a motion?
I don't have oh, there it is. I recommend we find the project exempt from sequent, adopt resolution 2023-11. Approving the application subject to conditions.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, other business? I don't know if we had ARC this last week. Do we need for the next one, volunteer or anything?
We do have one more ARC this month. And just, I can have 1 second, look up the date for you. It'll be next week,
Next week?
Next Friday.
Thursday?
not
Not
this
week,
Thursday,
week,
next,
Thursday?
yes.
I'm just gonna open up.
Happy to take any volunteers. That's the
Friday? Oh,
Friday, sorry, the 1st, December 1st,
Yeah, I can't.
9:30.
I'm traveling. I can't do it.
I could do it.
Thank you so much.
Can I just get a reminder?
Absolutely. We'll send out a calendar reminder.
I can forget on video just as easily. All right, any commissioners' reports? Planning director's report?
Nothing new to report other than our planning director is on vacation. So thank you for having me today.
You, all right, we are adjourned.
No,